There were some good things about growing up in this neighborhood and some not so good things about growing up here. I mean, growing up, I witnessed landlords burning their own buildings because there wasn't any kind of financial investment coming in here. Families just gone overnight, with their buildings burned down. But there was a real strong sense of community. It never occurred to me that despite what things look like, that I wasn't taken care of and protected. But that spirit of community within me kind of left when I realized that the perceptions of being from a place like the South Bronx to folks outside of it was that you were dirty and somehow tainted. And so there was a huge part of me that didn't want to be associated with it at all. Never occurred to me that when I graduated from Wesleyan that I would come back home. I didn't think that it was in my cards at all. And I ended up having to live with my family because I was so broke. and so I had to move back in with mom and dad. And it was a defeat for me to have to come back home. But the great thing was that it did bring me face to face with my own past and my own understanding of what my community was. That's when I wanted to start being a part of a change that happened in here. Kind of environmental burdens that are placed in this community all have a tendency to create huge amounts of particulate matter that impacts the respiratory health of kids in particular. We've got one of the country's highest asthma rates for children, in addition to diabetes and obesity. So we started working on things like transforming former dumps into parks, developing, bike and pedestrian paths and greenway systems. The idea for the Greenway actually grew out of seeing how greenways worked in places like Copenhagen and Bogota, Colombia. They were transportation, they were stormwater management infrastructure, they were ways for people to get physical activity. Initially, when I would call up and look for an agency sponsor, I would say, listen, I want to build a greenway in the South Bronx, and they'd go, the South Bronx? Let me get back to you. Regardless, I wasn't going to stop until I found someone. There's so many things working against the kind of sanity that I think I'm providing for this world. My next big project is to move into real estate development. There is a development right around the corner from my house, probably one of the country's most notorious juvenile detention centers that was just recently closed down. And I want to turn it into a mixed income and mixed use manufacturing, commercial, and retail development that allows the type of economic developments to flourish that will actually allow poor people to become less poor. We're actually in conversation right now with a farmer's market to actually bring them in there into the site to literally psychologically and physically change the mindset that this place become a place where real life could happen, where new community dreams could start. Wesleyan prepared me to think about things not only as they appear directly in front of me, but also like what they can be. It's all about how do you nurture it and bring it out so that everyone and everything can be their best selves.